You're listening to The Angry Designer, where we cut through the industry bull to help frustrated graphic designers survive and thrive.
All right, here we are again.
Here we are again on a Wednesday.
Yes.
After I had an okay day today.
Good.
It wasn't. Oh wait, first off, cheers.
Oh yeah, well
cheers.
let's have
cheers,
it because I was waiting for
bro,
this. Cheers, cheers,
cheers, cheers.
There's our moment of silence.
The moment of silence. Oh damn, that tastes good. And we're mixed tonight, right?
Yes.
I'm drinking.
I'm going with the Jameson.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, the Glenfiddich.
Glenfiddich, and I'm actually got the. What was it Maker's Mark?
Maker's Mark.
But it was like their special cast or something, right?
Yes, which was really good.
It is really good.
I was torn, but
I am a bourbon guy, and you are definitely
I'm
a Scotch guy. So
yes.
that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. I think I can appreciate Scotch,
I like
too.
bourbon.
Yeah.
And you're coming around to Scotch.
I am definitely coming. I'm digging it. It's just then my mood changes, and I get conservative and snobby.
I know.
I develop an English accent. What happens there? I don't even know how that happens. I don't even know how to speak in an English accent, and when I have Scotch, I all of a sudden dry.
All of a sudden you're fluent in English.
Oh yeah. No, it was a good day. I mean,
much.
I can't speak for you. We did
busy.
information architecture presentation today for a client, and it went very well. It went, these like brilliant guys, and you know, like a huge tech company, like some of the smartest people.
Is
a
that
lot of our
intimidating?
customers. Yeah, it is.
It is.
It's really fun. Well, because I mean, again, it's like, but you know, the cool thing is they respect that. You know, I guess they respect the skill set, right?
Well, I was just going to say, because what you have and what they have,
very different.
very different.
But some of them have this whole God complex where they feel they can do everything.
Exactly.
These guys are brilliant.
Yeah.
But they completely know where their brilliance stops and
Right.
where they
And
need
where-
this side.
exactly.
So it's amazing. Like there's nothing, and I don't want to say it's maybe humbling is the word, or it's flattering when it's like, no, you know, we can build these incredible, you know, SaaS platforms, and you know, we work with companies like Apple and Google, but we know that you know how to speak human, and that's like really cool.
That's
shit.
awesome. Yeah, that's pretty
That's
good.
the expertise.
Yes.
That's like they respect the expertise, and it's just like customers like that you keep forever.
That's exactly it.
That's what we strive.
Those are the good ones.
Yeah, right. You
Ones
always
that
think
are smart enough to know to get out of the way of the creative process.
yeah, right.
It's true.
But I mean, when you start, you have no idea, right? You have no idea what you're in for. You have, like you take every customer. You don't care if they're like walking all over you, if they're stepping all over you, right?
Yeah.
Like there's so much, how different it is from now after doing this for 20 years versus when I started.
Yeah.
Right? Like everything from just accepting every job that came in to, being a generalist, to saying yes to everything and learning along. I mean, that's cool. I think that still exists a little bit, but but the reality is you put up with so much shit back then.
Yeah.
And it's not fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But did you hate it in the beginning?
No, I always loved it.
You did.
Although I hated some of the people.
Some of the people.
Yeah.
and you kind of had to suck things up, It's not the greatest thing in the world, but you had the end goal.
I did.
And you knew you were going to end up here at this kind of spot.
It's funny, clear as day. I knew it was gonna be the agency. I knew it was, I didn't know what that agency looked like, other than being kind of that whole vibe that we got going. I think that was the only thing, is the vibe.
Yeah.
I knew, but as we,
but
we
you
all,
didn't foresee yourself in the tech field, or
no, because that was something something more recent, right? Like we started as a very niche company, then we went to being a generalist because we thought that's what you had to be, and I mean, it's not wrong to be a generalist in a niche. And that's what we ended up doing in the end.
Yeah.
Right. Our mistake was we started in a niche market, and we were doing everything for a niche market. Then we're like, no, we've got to be a generalist, and we've got to do everything for everybody because it's a huge market.
Right.
Well, the reality is it's too big a market.
Yes.
Right. And
it's
like you have no idea who to go after. It's like shit. If you're in everything to everybody, then really, as soon as you walk out your door, you should walk up to the very first business and be like, hey, I can do something for you, if that's genuinely how you feel. It's too big of a pool.
Yes.
So then over the years, we learned how to do 1.5 million things. And then the nice thing is then we became generalists in the sense of we had such a broad spectrum of services, scope. We've touched everything from print to trade shows to digital, right? Like branding, like it just is huge.
Yeah.
but then it was just too big.
Yeah, too much.
It was too much, and it was tiring.
Yeah.
And the reality is then we made a conscious decision, to go back to the B2B space, but not just a B2B space, but the tech B2B space.
Side, yes.
Because we knew how things were built.
Right.
We liked how things were built, and we were in a tech town, right? So it was
Big
just
time.
like,
Yeah, I know.
It was like, do it, because tech's not going anywhere.
Exactly.
So in the end, we are a tech specialist. Right. And our specialty is tech companies, broadband, IoT, primarily. But then we also got, some AI, some SaaS products. But so we're a specialty in our niche industry, but we offer them a whole 20 years experience worth of, a whole 20 years worth of experience.
Yeah.
So we can offer them a ton of shit in a very niche space.
Right.
And that's a huge leg over the competition, because a lot of the newer companies, they don't have experience in some of the older sense.
Exactly.
They, print something a little foreign, trade shows is something foreign. We're like, you know what? We can offer you end to end, but we know your space.
Yeah.
So in the end, I mean, the whole reason we did that was to eliminate the competition.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to compete with anybody. It's like, how am I going to do that?
Yeah.
I'm going to stop being a generalist, going to be a specialist, own that space.
Yeah.
And then who's left to compete against us, right? Like other generalist companies?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, we do a bit of print.
Yeah.
But you know what?
I know tech. I use Google.
I have a computer.
I have a computer. I'm on a Mac.
No, you don't. No, you don't know.
No,
you don't know tech.
Anyway, needless to say, it was it was a good experience today, to say the least. But
yeah, well, that's good.
I think so.
That's good. Yeah.
So before we get too far, though, down this road, first things first, we have an announcement.
Oh, I love this.
We have our first. Wait.
Here we go. We're calling it up.
We have our first winner of the AirPods. Okay, wait, Apple AirPods. Yes, damn it. I can't. Why is it always so hard to say?
I don't know.
Right? So we've had an amazing
really nice
response. Yeah, those really cool things. Amazing response. And again, we still have 2 more months of this. So, we're still going strong. We're running a contest every month. Anybody who, drops us a review on either Apple or on Spotify or even on Google, for that matter, if they offer reviews, drop us a line then on our Instagram. Let us know that you did and who you are. And then you will automatically be entered in a contest for that month for a pair of Apple AirPods.
Nice.
So for February, which is when we started, we've had about 20 submissions, which is incredible.
That's great.
Great. And the shit people are saying is awesome.
Yes.
And I mean, and again, they're not all 5 stars.
Yeah.
Some of them are 4.5, some are 4, some are 3.5. But the reality is, I don't care. I just asked it to be real.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's just really cool. We're reaching people for the right reasons.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, these guys are the end all, and I'm learning so much. And granted, yes, people are saying they're learning stuff, but it's like, it's real.
Yeah.
It's real talk.
Exactly.
We're ranting about shit that people feel and hear about, and that's kind of what we are. We say that we're here to help graphic designers survive and thrive those times.
That's right. If you ever met us in real life, we would be exactly. We're not any different.
No, not at all. Right. This is it.
This
right.
is as real as it gets.
We're the people you want to go have a beer with, have a hangout, right?
Whiskey.
Yeah. So the winner, our very first official winner, comes all the way from Scotland. Okay.
Man.
Yeah, I can't do that accent. You can try. I can't. I'm not even gonna try. Scottish.
It's not Scottish. It's crap.
He's an illustrator. His name is Dan Serrano. The dude, I know maybe got a little bit of Italian.
I was just going to say Serrano.
Or maybe just the way I said it. I don't know. But
could be.
But no, I mean, again, great report. Dude dropped us a couple lines. He also followed up, hit up some comments on some of our posts on Instagram. And yeah, I am proud to say that this is officially our very first winner.
That's awesome.
It's kind of cool.
Can we have a drink to Dan Serrano?
No, let's cheers to Dan.
Cheers.
Dan.
Yes. Salute.
To Dan.
Oh yeah, way to go!
All right,
That's
buddy.
Awesome.
So, because you're way over in Scotland, I think I'm just going to be just actually buying them across seas and sending them to over there.
Oh yeah, that's
versus sending it from
idea.
over here. It's probably a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
Cool. But anyway, the rest of you got 2 more months to go. You still have 2 months. You've got the rest of March and you've got April.
Yeah.
Drop us a line, hit us up on the review, and get entered into that contest. Because again, your chances are great.
Yeah, totally.
Right? Really, it's not like 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 5,000.
Exactly.
We're only talking a handful, right? And 20 people went as far, and they did this, and fantastic. So thank you all.
Yes, this is great. Congratulations, Dan.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
All right. So now moving back to our story.
Okay.
So a lot of the shit, like literally, it's taken 22 years to learn this stuff. And I always say that, I wish more than anything when I started, you had this kind of stuff. You had information like the internet, like we have now with all this readily available information.
Yep.
You had people willing to give, kind of like our mission is to help everybody, whether they're experienced designers or even new designers.
Yeah.
No, we have a lot of newbies as well, right? And again, the nice thing is we're providing them information, helping them get inspired, helping them kind of get, and it's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's cool that they're finding tips and valuables. And that's kind of where tonight's topic kind of came from, right?
Yes.
It's almost like a, if I knew this then type of scenario, right? But the reality is it's just like over the past, I was just talking to somebody today saying that, over the past, 22 years, but we'll just say for the past 20 years, I feel my first 15 were just trial and error, just learning, like literally, because I had to make a lot of mistakes, right? In order to get to where, and then, you finally start getting, it all feels like it finally comes together. To me, it was about between the 13 and the 15 year mark, but I wish I had people, helping me along the way and giving the kind of advice that, we're throwing out right now and people can find everywhere on the internet. So tonight's topic, of course, is to provide some game-changing tips for new graphic designers.
Nice.
Right? For newbies, for beginners, people just getting into the space.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean that anybody who knows us and who's been doing this for a little while is going to be like, oh, not for me. Click.
Yeah.
No. Stick
Don't
around.
Don't
right?
switch over to something else.
There's always stuff to learn. There's always stuff to remind yourself to remember and be like, yeah, that's right. Like really, that's what this is all about.
Totally.
But I'd love to also get tips back from everybody on Instagram, see if anything we messed up or anything we missed.
Yeah.
Because we do want to follow up with this in a few weeks on, I guess, soft skills we talked about as well, right?
Because we did we pooled everybody here at the
giant
shop,
list.
and there was a lot of the soft skills, and even my kind of, I was starting. That's where I was coming from, like things that are you can learn the tactile skills,
which is what we're going to talk about
which
today.
is what we're going to talk about. But we will come around and do the kind of soft skill stuff that
right, that you need to know, right?
Business.
And absolutely, and still geared towards beginners, right? But I mean, the one thing for sure is graphic design is one of those things that, especially now more than ever, it's easy to get into. Right? It's really easy to get into, but it takes a lifetime to actually get good at, right? There's so much to learn with our principles and just the experience and everything just kind of adding on top, how to manage time, how to manage clients and stuff. It takes a lifetime to learn this shit, right?
It totally does. I'm still learning it.
Yeah, well, yes, you are, Sean. I'm kidding. You rock. But I think the problem in a lot is you start having these platforms like Canva that come out, right? Which basically it makes anybody think that they're a graphic designer. And I mean, no disrespect to anybody who's working on Canva who's listening to our show, but the reality is, I mean, Canva is more like a visual editor. You kind of piece stuff together. You're not learning any sort of graphic design skills, right?
Yes.
And you're kind of churning out this, while it might be better quality than, using Comic Sans in a Word doc, to create a flyer, the reality is it's not design led, it's not strategically led. You're just kind of cranking out just like templated stuff over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And it does cheapen the space.
Yeah. It's kind of like I compare it to that good food thing.
Good food one?
You get food in a box.
Oh, right.
It's kind of like that.
Food like
the food is great, but you didn't come up with it. It's not creative.
You're not becoming a better
You're
cook.
not going to be a
by
better
getting
cook
everything.
Yeah, exactly, right?
So true.
Yeah,
You're right.
so that's kind of what it is. Like, just because you made this salmon risotto, whatever.
that comes to you pre-portioned with the right amount of salts to use, the right amount of this, the temperature.
Everything's all there,
Dude.
I mean, that doesn't make you a better cook. Canva doesn't make you a better designer.
Totally.
Nazzes everything up a little bit.
Dude, I gotta sorry to tell you. So speaking of better cooks, my mom was like the best cook in the world. She was a gifted, unlike anything, right?
An Italian mom, come on,
dude,
man.
And this was her gift. This was her creative skill.
Yeah.
And I remember dating this girl, and I was like 21, 22 years old. I was really young, right? And she was like, she was just all like, well, your mom's not just, the best cook. Anybody can cook. And I'm like, I don't think anybody can cook, right? And she's like, well, I can cook. I know I can cook. And just this happened more than once. And she's like, you know what? I'm gonna cook you dinner. Well, I was just like, oh, dude. First off, why I didn't dump her for even saying anything about my mom? My mom that shouldn't even have come out of her damn mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, but she was hot. I was young. You excuse a lot of things.
Now it comes out. Okay. Yeah.
So here it comes. It was Saturday night. She's gonna cook dinner for me, right? So it's like, okay. She's like, yeah. When are we gonna eat? You know? And she's like, oh yeah, we're gonna eat at 6 o'clock, right? I'm like, okay, cool, right? I show up at like 4:30, wine in hand, right? And I'm like, all right. Have you started cooking? She's like, no, not yet. Let's have some wine. I was like, okay.
All right.
5 o'clock comes around, right? Are you going to start cooking? No. We still got time. Like, what the fuck is this, right? Because I know my mom. She would prepare for hours ahead. There's so much this. So, sure enough, it's 5:30. I'm like, what am I in for here? She's like, okay, it's time to cook. I'm going to go start cooking now.
Yeah.
She goes in the freezer. She grabs some frozen peas. She goes in there, grabs some frozen corn. She needed to, instead of like buying the dough for the bread, she bought this pre-stuff that she just had to bake, already done. Everything was pre-made. It was... And in the end, it was just, she's right. It only took 15 minutes because you're literally microwaving and heating every fucking thing. And this kind of feels like this whole Canva game.
Yes, it totally
Because
is.
she put it on the plate
Yep.
and it looked good.
Yeah,
but as soon as I tasted it, it came out of my mouth. Needless to say, I didn't get any that night. And after that, I think that was pretty much the end of that relationship because honestly, I couldn't swallow that food. But this is the same thing as this whole Canva crap, right?
Totally.
Because it's all thin, surface level thin,
right?
And nobody's learning from this shit, right? Absolutely, you can't learn from it. It can't take away the years it takes to actually refine our skills.
Totally,
right?
Totally.
So, unfortunately, while we can't help anybody with their Canva game,
true,
good, no help there. What we can do is at least give you some of the high level tips that can, at the very least, if you're a new designer using, a platform, hopefully it's Adobe, but if it's not Adobe, there's a lot of other awesome, platforms out there that are more cost effective that, will amp up your design skills is kind of the way we're looking at this, right?
Yes.
So these are tips, quicks that'll just immediately elevate your game, simply easy things to just watch out for that all of a sudden will make you change you from looking like a newbie to somebody who's actually got their shit together and has already been in the space for 3, 4, 5 years.
Exactly.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds great. Or at the very least, pumps you up to a level at a faster pace.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Keep
Like,
these things in mind moving forward,
exactly.
right? Like these are legitimate tips that we use on a daily basis.
Yes.
But early on, if you can start using this, it's a game changer in a lot of ways, right?
Because we didn't have YouTube back in the old days, right?
No, we really didn't for this kind of stuff.
So
We've got it broken down into obviously design skills, right? We've got layout, we've got color, and then of course we finish off with everybody's favorites, typography.
Big T.
Yeah, the big T. All right, but first off, let's start off with the big D.
The big D.
That didn't sound right. How about we just start off with design? Just design. All right. Damn. My mind's still thinking of 21-year-old Moss.
You're back to that frozen peas and corn and the bread. I wonder what she's doing.
Yeah.
Still a terrible cook, probably.
Shit. That's amazing.
Okay, that's
all
good.
right.
Design.
So, design skills, overall design skills, first and foremost, right?
Yep.
When you're coming out with a layout, when you're coming up with a design, when you're coming out with a concept, first and foremost, keep it simple.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right? And what we mean, seriously, is don't try to do too much in a composition.
Yeah.
If it's a social media post, right? Single purpose.
Yeah.
If it's a brochure, if it's a flyer, sell sheet, single idea, right? Menu, right? Have a single theme. Like, seriously, keep this shit simple and literally have it follow a single. And I think that's a big problem because, especially early on, because, you're listening to the customer and the customer wants you to do this and do that. And make sure you add this in there. Make sure you add that. Problem is you end up jamming so much stuff out.
Right.
People can't remember that shit.
Exactly.
Right?
It ends up just cluttering it. It's like we read about, and this, I don't know whether this pertains to it, but the icon trying to do too many things.
Right. Like,
you know what I mean?
like single purpose.
You don't want an icon that's trying to say five things, right? It's just not going to work. So.
Right. So when coming up with your crap, literally, give it a reason, give it a purpose, and stick to it. Plain and simple.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Easy enough.
Beautiful.
Number 2, for design, keep it minimal. Okay. Now there is a difference.
Right.
There is
Simple
a difference
and
between
minimal, yes.
Right? Minimal is simple, but simple isn't necessarily minimal.
Oh,
right? That's pretty deep.
I like that. That's good.
But I mean, the whole idea here about keeping it minimal and what we're talking about is make sure the elements that are there actually serve a function.
Right.
They're not just there to be some sort of gratuitous design element that doesn't add to the design.
Right.
This is what I find that comes with experience. You know, new designers tend to just kind of keep adding things. Oh, let's add some flourishes here. Let's add 3 lines there. Let's add a spot of color here. And it's just like, they're just adding all these elements onto something, you know, a piece, a design piece, a composition, a website, whatever it is.
Yep.
And it's not serving any purpose other than just like fluff.
Yes, exactly.
It drives me nuts, actually.
Yeah, it's really bad. I remember when I was in school, I did a project, some sort of train thing.
Yeah.
And I had, you know those old timey trains with a cow catcher and everything
Yeah,
like
I
that?
do.
Like
Yeah.
it's really heavy detailed, right? And I don't know what I was thinking, but I had 3 trains on the cover page.
Jeez, right?
And my teacher was like, "This is literally a train wreck, dude. Like this is terrible." Pulled it back,
Yep.
and you know, like a further view of the train, and it looked much better.
Absolutely. Right?
But that was my inclination. My first kind of thought was to jam it with all these trains.
Yeah.
It's like,
You
why?
know, we have some younger designers here, and I mean they're amazing, they're incredible. But I mean, you know, when they would first start, it's like you'd see like, oh, let's just add a line here, a colored line.
Yeah.
Why? It looks good. And that's it, just because it looks good. Like, it's just noise. It's visual noise. It's, you know, it's visual pollution.
It's visual pollution.
Keep it clean, pull it back, and just add, you know, the right amount of elements to keep it minimal.
Yes.
Right? I think that's kind of like, right? So it's not like you're making it empty and sparse or whatever. You just, if it's not really needed, don't add that shit.
It doesn't work. Yes. Absolutely.
So that was number 2, keep it minimal. Number 3, this one is a big topic for us. Don't chase trends.
Oh God.
Right? Now, again, it's not saying that you can't create trends, you can't follow trends, but the problem is if you're constantly chasing trends after another, you're never actually going to develop as a designer.
This is true.
You're just going to follow whatever's hot and trendy right now.
Exactly.
And that's not going to make you a better or anything.
No.
Right? Like, that's what people don't understand. Always use solid design principles where you can, first and foremost, and just use trends to enhance the composition.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Again, sometimes people have no idea why they're doing the shit they're doing, other than the fact that it's trendy. But again, after 5, 6, 7 years, like you said, you don't have your own design style.
Yeah, you're just an ape. You just copy everything else.
You're copying everything. It's like, you know, it's like with the whole
Excuse
me.
Whoa.
Wow, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, right there. Take a drink. Take a drink.
Oh yeah, take a drink. Joe, cut that out.
Cut that coffee session.
I need a drink on that one. All right.
Yeah.
Honestly, use solid design principles. Use solid design principles in all your compositions, right? And then use trends to enhance the composition, right? Yeah. So always follow the right hierarchy and white space and balance, everything that we always talk about, and that you're reading good designers, profess year after year after year.
Right.
Just fluff it up with the trends, right?
Exactly. They're just trends, and that's the thing is we've done podcasts on this before, and it's like, how long do these trends last?
Right.
Not even a year. Some of them.
Right.
So
absolutely.
You're going to be flip flopping quite a bit on this kind of stuff.
How tiring would that be?
I know.
He's
I was
constantly
just like, Jesus, that's so stupid.
It's like every day you're going to be visiting, like Behance and this, and trying to keep up with the trends every day, and then learn it, and only to kick it out and try it again and again. Dude, that would drive me nuts.
I know. That would make me mental. Instead of using the classics. God.
Yeah,
Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So
No-brainer.
don't chase trends. And this one, to round out design, is something different that I always tell everybody here, because they always have the habit of doing.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So when you create different concepts, create different concepts.
Yes.
Don't just tweak an existing concept.
Yeah.
Okay. And what I mean by this is sometimes we'll have somebody create one ad, and in this ad they'll use a table, we'll say, for whatever sake, for a silly concept here, better yet, they create an ad and they put an icon on there.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Create an ad, they put an icon. Then they show me ad number 2, different layout, but they also throw the same icon. Okay. Then they create number 3, and hey, guess what? Same icon, different color. I always go back to telling people the same thing. If you're creating 2-3 concepts and you show a customer 2-3 concepts, if you have a repeated visual element in all 3 of those, it works against you, because if the customer doesn't like that design element in concept number 1, well, they're not going to like it in number 2 and number 3.
They're going to be upset by it.
They're going to be like, wow, oh, there it is again. You really, oh shit, that I remember I told you in that first concept you showed me 5 minutes ago, I didn't like it. I still don't like it.
Yes,
people don't get that, right? If they all look the same and they carry over some of the same elements, I mean, you're basically dead before you actually even hit the wall. I don't even know what analogy I'm saying there.
I know, yeah. But you're done for.
Yeah. Honestly, if you have the opportunity, create something, 3 different variations. If, concept number 1 has an icon, concept number 2 can have a photo. Concept number 3 could maybe be a hybrid that uses, part illustration, part 3D, whatever. Show 3 different variations of something. Try not to reuse those elements across.
Yes.
Because again, it's going to work against your favor.
It is.
They're not going to like the one, and this has happened many times.
Yeah.
Customers will be like, no, I don't like them.
And then you're back to the drawing board, right?
Which is even worse.
You spent all this time on 3 concepts, and not one of them is even is even valid. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Now, I would point out again. I did this in college.
Yeah.
If there was a certain thing, we would have to do 3 concepts. If there was a concept that I was really, really stoked about, I would do a good job on that one, and then the second 2 I would do a terrible job on it.
Shit,
and my teacher called me out, and he's like, "Say, I know what you're doing here. You're trying to lead me over to this one," and he would make me flesh out the other 2. So it's just kind of,
that's good.
I know exactly, and it's like, but again, that was a rookie move. I was trying to be clever, as a young 20-year-old dude.
Rule of thumb when it comes to afterwards, the customer always picks the ones you don't want.
Exactly.
So you make sure you're happy with everyone.
Yes, you have to like them all,
dude.
Yeah, you're
Murphy's Law. You know what? The throwaway concept that you're like, we'll just throw that one in, so it looks like that we're giving him 3 concepts. That's the fucking one they choose. You're cursed.
Yeah, I know.
Holy
I know.
Shit.
That's sad.
That's not a young beginner. That's not a rookie move. That's a senior rookie move. Okay. We know. Do not create throwaway concepts, because it comes back to you, and they go with that.
I know.
And then you're having to build something you hate. You're like, oh God, that was the worst website concept, and they chose it. Now I got to sit there and build 20 pages that look like ass.
Oh, and it's just, and by the end of it, you're just ready to claw your eyes out.
Oh, jeez. All right. So for design, so design for beginners, keep it simple, keep it minimal, don't chase trends, and then create different concepts that are actually different. Yes. All right. Don't reuse those elements.
Don't rehash and don't shit things up.
All right. So that's number 1.
Nice.
Number 2, we're going to quickly go some high points about layout. All right. Concept number 1.
Yes.
Right. Idea number 1. Tip number 1 for layout. Okay. Elevate your hierarchy game.
This is key.
This is key, right? So one, not rookie mistake, but it takes a long time to understand hierarchy exactly and how it works, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, it makes a huge difference in all compositions, no matter what it is, whether it's webs, social tiles, brochures, whatever it is, right? You need to understand what that hierarchy is about giving visual importance to certain elements, okay, to catch your eye and then flow your eye through to the next. Right. All right. I can't stand looking at something, or when somebody presents me something and everything is equal weight, because you don't know where to look.
Yes.
Right. And it drives me fucking nuts. I'm like, okay, guys. And often all it is, when you're looking at a design, they're like, I can't make this work or whatever. It's just like, you know what? Start changing the hierarchy of things. Make the subtitle bigger, or make the headline bigger, make the image smaller, or opposite, make the image loud and proud, and then bring, tighten up it always works out to hierarchy. And people really underestimate the importance of hierarchy. I mean, to me, it's one of the most important things in any composition, right?
Yes.
You want that damn thing to tell a story, create a flow within that story, and then have your eye actually kind of travel around through it, using, obviously sizes and spacing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You need to make these groupings through a hierarchy.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. And it is kind of one of those learned skills, right? Like it's always difficult, I find, that getting those nuances.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Like, but I mean, still, it's good to be aware.
Absolutely.
When you're starting out doing this
literally
kind of stuff.
Think of a hierarchy as literally an upside down triangle. And that's it.
Yeah,
Nothing more
that's
than
right.
just basic. Let's face it, when you're creating something, whether it's a website, an ad or something, right? Flip that triangle upside down, right?
Yeah.
You want the biggest item, keep it simple right at the top so it catches your eye.
Right.
And everything else gets progressively smaller and smaller until you end up at the point, which is at the bottom in this case,
Right.
which is your logo, your call to action, everything else.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Just
Nice.
think of it. And then once you understand, this upside down triangle, then you can start shifting with the symmetry,
Yes.
with the balance. You get it, right?
Yep.
But just plain and simple, use that as your starting point, an
That's
upside
really
down
good.
triangle.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's great. That's a great idea.
Number 2, that kind of goes in line with actually hierarchy, right? Is white space is king. We love white space. You can never ever have enough white space. Okay,
True enough.
But again, white space, people have to remember, especially newbies, white space isn't just a big empty space for the sake of space. And it's not spacing shit out everywhere.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
White space serves so many different purposes, right? That people need to understand.
Yeah.
It creates groups, within items. You put enough space around a title and a subtitle, all of a sudden those two are grouped together if there's enough white space, right?
Yes.
You got your body copy and your call to action. If you put enough white space around it, nice balance around it, it draws your eye and it looks like it's the same element.
Yeah.
This kind of goes back to the hierarchy thing. Like, it drives me nuts when people show me stuff and everything is equally spaced. Like, it's fucking boring. Right. And this is such a newbie thing. That's just and again, and I mean newbie in the best of way, but white space is something that's easy to understand.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get good at.
It is. It really is. Yeah. It takes a long time to master that.
Seriously, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I still struggle with that a lot, to be honest.
It's true. Yeah. It is difficult. But like, again, you're always kind of aware of it.
Yeah.
In your mind, and so it's it's always there. Just kind of, hey, looking over your shoulder at me, a little more space there.
Yeah, right. Add a little bit. You know who's good at white space?
Who's
Angus is good at white space.
Yes,
He is, right?
He did an ebook.
Yeah.
And it was fucking brilliant. I was looking at it, I'm like,
dude, I know.
Damn.
Right. I know. And
Wow.
I had to give the kid props. It's one of our new hires. And it's just like, some people it comes natural. And for him, he just understands.
Really
whether
good
he
at
understands it or it's part of his look and feel, the kid gets it.
He
so
does.
good
He
on
totally
him.
does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do like that.
Yeah.
So
No,
white
that's
space is
great.
key, honestly. It helps with hierarchy. It helps with, the flow, of course. And honestly, it creates balance.
Yes.
Because often, if you have enough white space on one side, it can totally balance, all these heavy items on the opposite
other
side.
side. Yes.
So it's kind of, you would never expect something like that to happen, but it absolutely does.
Totally, yeah.
So add white space, learn white space, obsess over white space, because that's something.
That's it. Obsess. That was the word I was looking for.
Obsess
Obsess over it. Yes.
Honestly, because it's one of those things that once you get that white space game in play, you've elevated your whole. You've gone from a 1-year designer to a 5-year designer,
Totally,
right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number 3, under layout, use cohesive or complementary elements together. How many times, dude? How many fucking times do we see people? I see people present me a composition or layout. They have 3 icons. And it's like all 3 icons are different.
Different icons. I know.
It's like, okay, I'm looking at them. They look like 3 different style icons. They're 3 different weights, and it's just like, and one's a fucking raster base. The other 2 are vectors. What are you doing? Like, if you're gonna put items on a page together, they have to complement each other,
have to
right?
look the same,
Like, if you're gonna copy paste icons, make sure they're all at least the same fucking line weight, okay? If you're gonna use images to represent something, make sure the images are all similar.
Yeah.
Right? You see this all the time in tech ads. It's like they'll pull out like a modem. Right? And it's a straight on shot of a modem. But then they'll use like a modem plus something else beside it. And it's like a completely different angle, top down. It's 3D.
Or like angled. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And another third version has got like this light shining behind it. And it's just like, guys, like, if you want to amp up, do you think Apple would do this?
No,
Look
absolutely.
to Apple's website and look at what they do. Every time they show a product, it's the same angle, the same shot. They have to complement each other.
Yes, exactly. It has to look like it's part of the same family. Like,
absolutely.
if this was photographed this way, not light sources or different
Dude,
styles.
how many times do you see this happen? Honestly, it's like you see this in pictures, you see this in icons, font weights, like. Dude,
it's like Homer Simpson's website. Remember what
Oh,
you're talking
remember?
about?
Nothing even match.
I jammed everything in there.
Oh, dude. Honestly, whatever you have in your composition, make sure it looks like it matches.
Yeah.
Like it's from the same family. It's from the same collection, if you want to call it. If it's photos, look for similar photos that have the same vibe, angles, intensity. Like make sure and this goes exactly for saturation too. Like if you're using photos and one has got like this hot, vivid, and the next photo beside it is like cool and dude, they don't match.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah.
If you pull all those together in the same composition, you'll amp up that whole piece immediately. Just as simple as that.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Very true.
Take that, Canva. Fuck. Damn you. All right. Number 4.
Yes.
Obsess over alignment.
Ooh,
right?
Nice.
This one is ridiculous. And this one is like a no-brainer, but nobody, like they always second guess it. They don't think about it. They leave it as an afterthought and they're like, oh yeah, you're right. Oh. Like what looks like a total amateur newbie mistake, okay, is when things don't align. Like this, and we're talking about, sometimes copy doesn't align. Yeah. Left align copy doesn't align with the title or the subtitle.
Yes.
They don't follow a nice kind of symmetry line all the way down to the logo, the call to action.
Yes.
Vertically, horizontally, things aren't lining up properly. It's just kind of like everything is kind of on a page. And what's worse is when they just kind of tap it and they do it by eye and it's off by a few pixels. That's actually worse.
It's so hard to drag those rulers over from the margins. Oh.
Well, because in those cases, when they're just eyeballing it and trying to guess it instead of like selecting all in a line left or hitting a ruler, right? The problem is when you're looking at the piece, it looks like something's wrong, but you can't quite get it at first.
Yes.
And you're like, what is up with this? And people are looking at it and it's unpleasing.
Yes.
And then afterwards, it's like, oh shit, that's why.
What it is.
Nothing's aligned or this or that.
And you're like the alignment ninja.
Oh, dude.
I remember that trade show that we went to. You pointed it out on one of those banner stands. I was like, holy shit.
And it was only off by like half an inch, but man, it hurt to look at.
It was, and I was like, I was working on all the collateral for this stuff, and I was like, yes, I didn't even see that. And
dude,
once you see it, like, holy shit, yeah.
But people, they don't do it not only in compositions, but in logos.
Yeah.
Often it's like, the copy on a logo. It's like the letters don't line up properly or they don't follow a similar alignment with like the actual logo mark itself. So the copy and the logo, it's like, guys, like you got to line this shit up.
Yes, exactly.
Because honestly, that just cleans something up to the point where people don't even have to think twice about it. And again, it amps up, it elevates the quality of that piece. Right. Just something as simple as alignment. So my opinion is obsess over alignment.
Agreed. Yeah.
I get obsess over white space, but obsess over alignment, and that's equally. Yeah. If you have to, use Vignelli he used to profess about the grid. Yeah. He would create like a 9 square grid or a 12 square grid, right? And he would, treat your composition as a grid and line everything up through that, right? It makes such a difference in a piece, right?
And honestly, in all fairness, if you're using the Adobe products, there are plenty of tools available for you
there's so many.
to
there's
align
no excuse.
Stuff. So
there's no excuse. There's no excuse. But even with that being said, like make sure there's equal spacing everywhere too. Like if you're aligning, remember margins, they got to have their right. Make sure there's the same amount of space to the left. Like people aren't taking enough time to just sit back and be like, where can we align something? As soon as you align something, anything, it automatically looks better.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
Just plain and simple.
Yes.
Agreed. All right. So with layout, then we've got elevate your hierarchy game. Okay. White space is key. Use cohesive, complementary design elements together, please, for God's sake. Obsess over alignment.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's
Brilliant.
good. That's
Brilliant.
for layout.
Yes.
I think you figure out those 4 things, you've just improved your layout game, like 10 to 1. Okay,
Big
all
time.
in the sun.
Yep.
Now we're on to color.
Color,
Right?
nice.
It's colorful.
Yes,
Very
it's
colorful.
very colorful.
Very colorful.
I like color.
Color makes me happy.
Yes, it certainly does. Except when it's used wrong.
And it makes me angry.
And I'm mad.
Right? But, with that being said, let's go first and foremost, understand color theory.
Yeah.
Right? If we are talking about how colors make people happy and color, but that is so true. And you don't have to like upset, you don't have to, I don't know, some people like are crazy and they're like all psychotic about it. Like, no, we can't use blue. Blue is always a cold color. No, you can't. Okay, you know what? Yeah.
That's a little much.
I get it. It can be cold, but there's ways to warm up blue.
Yes.
Right? There's ways to make red cold. Yeah. But the thing is, what I'm saying is, it's important for new designers to understand color theory as a good base for everything they're doing, right? Because often when we're putting things together and we're trying to, you know, sell it to customers, we're not just selling them our opinion, because they don't want to hear our opinion. They want to hear about our expertise, our skill set. And so if you understand color theory, then it gives you a good foundation for, you know, recommending why you made the decisions you did, right? You know, these colors represent this. These colors, are, you know, this is trendy right now, right? These are, you know, like cooler colors or Caribbean tropical, whatever, right? But you have to understand that there's, you know, not just, this isn't something that's just, you know, this past decade. Color theory has been going on for hundreds of years.
Yes.
Right? If not even longer, I bet you, in some cases. But I mean, this is something that's we've known about for a long time. So understand color theory, know the difference between the colors, and then use it as a good foundation to move forward with, right? With your designs. Number 2, create a color palette and stick to it.
Yes.
Okay, so this is huge. And again, people don't understand this enough. They don't pay enough attention to it.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I'm not saying, you know, to figure out, you know, oh, should we use monochromatic colors or complementary colors? That's a different thing altogether, right? That's another podcast altogether. But what we're saying is, you know, if you've got your brand colors, right, and you've got your complementary colors, right, pick a scheme and stick with that scheme. Right? Choose 4 colors, choose 5 colors, whatever your reasons are, and use those colors. Don't give yourself also these 4 colors plus variations of each color, because you're going to end up looking like a candy store in no time, right?
Exactly. And it's funny too, you could use color with just like, you know, very powerfully too, like
absolutely,
like less color sometimes is more, especially if you got a really vibrant color. It kind of just a little bit, you know, with a black and white kind of theme. Mwah. You know what I mean? Like you don't necessarily have to. Oh my God, the client's paying for all this.
You have to go.
I got to use all
you got to
these
max
colors.
it out. You're right.
Exactly.
You have a color scheme.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean, number one, you have to use every single color equally.
Exactly. That's it. Yes.
Often, you're right. Like, you know, when people are coming up with monochromatic color schemes, right? They'll use one color primarily for like 80%, and then these tiny little tidbits of color. It's just like tiny accents that you almost don't even know. So it's very big and bold with just a couple highlights, right? I mean, ultimately what this comes down to is you want to create some rules about these colors that you're using and follow them. Right? Create these rules, this color scheme. And stick to it.
Right.
Don't all of a sudden offer something and start, you know, variations of this red and this blue and this and that. You know what? You're just going to make your piece. Honestly, you'll make it look like a candy store. You're going to make it look like actually, I think even Simpsons, the episode uses a color scheme, right? The skin colors are the same.
Yeah, you're right.
House color, like
you're right. Everything is very,
Otherwise, it's, and I mean, it's part of that whole style.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
I think Futurama is the same thing.
Futurama's
most of the macaroni stuff. Yeah.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, it's important, right? And I think even like certain cartoons, like Adventure Time, was also a similar color scheme throughout, right? So there's something to be said about that, but it definitely keeps things nice and clean. Number 3 for color, which is huge, and people they underestimate this all the time. Understand the tonal values, what the hell that means, and how it interacts for colors. Okay. And what I mean by this is, you know, tonal values is kind of like the lights, the darks, the saturations for just because something is 2 different colors or something is blue and something is red or blue and yellow. If you all of a sudden put this yellow text on top of blue, but the yellow is muted and more mustardy, all of a sudden it disappears on blue. So, you know, you'd think, of course, you should be able to see it, but the tonal values are the same.
Right.
So I think tonal values, the easiest way for me to explain this is back in the day, I used to have this Apple book, right? And it showed me what 10% gray looked all the way to what 100% gray looked like, right? And it would 10, 20, 30, 40, all the way up, right? And then I compared that with colors. What I did is I took colors, right? And I printed them out in black and white. And all of a sudden you'd see, wow, blue looks just like 80% gray. And, red, this looks like 70% gray. And all of a sudden it's like when you'd put them on top of each other, they didn't work, right? You'd have to either lighten up the blue, darken up the red.
Right.
So there was a difference in tonal value of, I found 30 to 40% was that sweet spot where things could easily kind of, make things more legible, right?
Yeah.
People need to understand that tonal value isn't just about black and white, but it's actually the tone of the color, itself.
Yeah.
And this is where you have to adjust that shit, honestly, because it's such a rookie mistake. It makes, certain compositions like your skateboards. I mean, they're vibrant, they're loud, but I mean, even if you look at that one, like the screaming hand there, right? Yeah. The black and the blue, the tonal values there are closer from a distance right now. They're almost hard to see. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Mind you, if you were to take that blue and do a lighter shade, like the one beside it, or like the Rosie Robot one, it would stand out a lot more between the two. So. Yes. Yeah, pay attention to the tonal values of those, right? Pick your colors, change the value of the predominant one, and then add or take away the saturation or the hue or the brightness of the other color. So then they contrast better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Does that seem tonal values?
Yeah.
That's a big one.
I like that.
I don't know why that one was huge for me. Because with that, then last but not least, when it comes to colors,
there you go.
It accentuates the readability.
Right.
Make sure whatever color you may copy or whatever you put the copy on is legible. It's readable, right? Yeah. So number one, don't make copy yellow.
Yeah.
Bright yellow. If it has to be yellow, darken it up.
Exactly.
So the website that you're working on, the customer was complaining, nothing to do with you because I made those changes afterwards, but they were saying how some of the bullets, although they were, they're like, well, why it doesn't look like there's bullets there? And I'm like, well, the bullets are there. Yeah. But they're your brand color. And your brand color is very bright.
Yes.
It's very light. The tonal value on that's really, really high.
Yes.
So what I ended up doing is I went in and I actually darkened it up.
Oh.
So the customer could see it.
Yeah.
He didn't be like, oh, that's not our brand green, because you can't tell from that small, right? But he wanted colored bullets for some.
Yes.
So, it's more important to be legible,
yes,
right, than to follow certain, hard criteria, because ultimately, if you're following the brand guidelines to a T, and something doesn't work, it's not legible, you're kind of like doing a disservice to the brand.
Exactly, it's not working. Yeah.
So that's when it comes to when you're using colors on fonts, make sure the colors that you choose are going to be dark enough and legible enough, right, that anybody can see them, whether they have clear sight or whether they have a reading disability or something, right? Yeah. You have to remember that. Think of it this way: if you change that color to black and white, how easy is it going to be to read? Right. So if it's a yellow font and you all of a sudden turn that black and white, how easy is that going to be to read?
Yeah.
Nobody will be able to read.
It's not good. Yeah. No.
Yeah. So this is where it's like, but if it's like a darker mustard or something, right? All of a sudden, as black and white, it might be at like a 50% gray.
Yes, exactly, which is very good for
legibility. It's almost like that check and balance thing, right? Yeah. Like you're always consider what would this look like in gray, right? And then kind of go from there. All right, so color tips for designers. So understand color theory at least to a basic level. Create a color palette and stick with it. Understand tonal values and double check everything when you do, and make sure everything you do is legible, readable, when you're actually changing the color of a font, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're close.
Nice.
I think we're on to our last and probably the best one, right?
The best one.
Typography. Typography is the last but not least of these tips to amp up your game. Again, so work on these things and it'll change your game from being a simple newbie 1-year designer all of a sudden get you to 3 to 5 year overnight doing this kind of stuff, right?
Big time.
So first and foremost, keep your fucking fonts under control. Okay? Typography is an easy thing to get into, right? But honestly, it takes a lifetime to get good at, choosing the right font, putting it in for the composition, finding the one that has the right feel, right? Yeah. So what happens is people get excited on fonts. They go to Daft Font or they go to all these at Font Squirrel, right?
Because Font Squirrel has 10,000 fonts. Doesn't mean that you have to.
Yeah, right? And it's true. And like, I mean, they make it so easy. Adobe's like, check out our fonts. Everybody wants you to check out their damn fonts.
Check out our fonts.
But the problem is, like you start getting intrigued by all these fancy fonts, but then that takes over. And just like we said before about the early graphic designer who follows trends, same person follows fonts, is a font designer, right? Is like font man. Like they'll just grab fonts, literally. And they're just like, they use a font for everything, right? And all of a sudden you're seeing 2, 3, 4 different fonts on a composition. It's a fucking designer.
Exactly.
It's a disaster.
Yeah, you're trying to, and this is the thing is you got a great font that you've just found this. I love the way it looks. I'm going to put it in this particular because I really want to use it.
Yes.
And it's just like you're jamming a square peg into a round hole.
Dude,
it's not working, and shit's going to suffer.
Honestly, it's our recommendation, 3 fonts.
Yeah.
Use 3 fonts at max, right? Obviously, you've got your body font, right? And then you've got like your headline font, something big, something exciting.
Yeah.
And and then you use everything else there. Like try to stick with 3 fonts: headline copy, body copy, and then sometimes call to action you can have. If you look at our Instagram feed, almost everything on there only uses 3 fonts.
3 fonts.
3 font families, right? It doesn't mean I only have 3 of the same styles.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Like, our 1 font Poppins, we use almost every single thing from extra light to, extra bold.
Yeah.
But then we've also got this crazy ass road rage font that we're using. And I keep it very, very tight because as soon as you stray away from that, right, it just starts looking like a mess and you start affecting the brand.
Yep.
And then every composition you make is different. You have no idea anymore, who's following what product you're doing. It's a mess.
Yes. Yeah. There's no cohesive kind of.
Dude, not at all. Keep your fonts under control, damn it. 3 fonts max.
Yes.
Give yourself that damn challenge.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, font pairings.
Ooh,
okay. So this is another one of those ones that it's easy to do, but it's hard to get good at.
It
right?
is.
Like when you are picking fonts, make sure they complement each other. They don't contrast, right?
Yeah.
Like nothing says newbie when you see like a serif font for a headline. And then another serif font, a completely different one for the body copy. And it's just like, whoa. You can't do that shit. You can't show me. I mean, unless you're purposely, intentionally going out of your way to try to mimic David Carson or something, like you can't do it. And I don't think I've seen many pieces that look good when you've got 2 similar fonts, but kind of side by side, right? Like it doesn't work.
Yes.
You need to find, pairings that actually complement each other.
Right.
If one's heavy, one's semi-bold, and one's complex, the other one's simple, right?
Yeah.
Like there are nice cohesive, and I mean, if you can't figure it out yourself, that's fine. There's a whole bunch of places online.
I was just gonna say that's one of my favorite places to visit, like websites that have great font pairings, and it's just like. Oh, because I have a good sense of what goes together.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see different things paired together with something else.
Absolutely. You know what? And another funny thing, Google, believe it or not, if you go to Google Fonts, do you want a little bit of that?
Yes, please.
A little bit of a top up there.
Google Fonts, yeah.
If you go to Google Fonts, Sean, they even have, if you pick a font from Google Fonts, they even have an option what pairs nice with this font. Oh. So if you go to Google and you select Montserrat, it'll show you good pairings automatically with Montserrat.
Really?
So all of a sudden it's just like it makes it even easier for you, right?
Exactly.
So if you can't figure it out on your own yet because you're too new, no problem.
Yeah.
There's many resources online that will actually guide you down this road.
Yes.
So try to understand font pairings, right? Don't use 2 of the same font types, font styles together, right?
Yeah.
Make sure they complement each other.
Yeah, exactly. And it's great. It's great to experiment with that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, it is.
You see something where you'd be like, I can't believe that works together. And then you do it and you're like, shit, that looks really nice.
Absolutely, right? It's a nice surprise.
And then that gets the creative juices flowing. And then, before you know it, you're halfway to
exactly,
layout,
right? Absolutely. All right. Number 3, letter spacing.
Letter spacing.
Nothing says I'm new at design than you just type in your font and you don't touch the you don't let it go as it is. I mean, my rule of thumb is no matter what the hell that font is, right away, minus 40. I'm pretty extreme. Yeah, you can maybe go to minus 20. I get it. But you can't. if it's too wide, it's like it looks you're spending too much time looking at the space in between the fonts and the damn fonts themselves.
Yes.
Right? No, you've got to work on letter spacing. Understand what kerning is. Yeah. Understand what letter spacing is. Understand what, like, the spacing, between each one of these, right? Honestly, you need to understand, like, the spacing, and that is a big game changer for almost anybody. It just amps up any design when you start, playing with the kerning just a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's very good. And I don't know. Do you ever like the wide open kind of
very few times is that work. I haven't
done that in a long time.
I think it works if we're working on word marks or logos. I don't find it works really well with compositions often, right?
I was just gonna say I never do that.
Unless some people do those fancy word marky type things where it's like, lesson of the day. And it's all like hipster fonts, and then they say, okay, that's fine, but maybe it works for the hipsters. I don't know.
If you got a man bun, you could probably get away with it.
You pull it off just naturally, right? All right. So that's number 3. Number 4, font ratios. This one is fucking huge, okay? And this really, this is a game changer for most people, right? Often people have no idea how much bigger your title font should be than your body copy font, or how much there should be between your title and your subtitle, right? Yeah. This is like this honest mystery of how big, right? Because honestly, I hate when you're seeing, like a headline font and it's just like a little bigger than the body copy font, but it's bold or something. Like, dude, I want to slap their heads and be like, dudes, no, work with this. Like, I have this rule of thumb, okay, that, if you can keep it, 2 to 2.5 times the size difference, right? That's a great place to start.
Right.
Okay. Sometimes, depending on if you want to be extreme, you can go bigger. Tim Brown from IDEO goes on about, well, you need to follow the golden ratio and, like the Fibonacci circle. And then he starts going into percentages and this and that. Honestly, dude, like, it fucking makes my head spin, right? Like, the ratio is important, but you start going that crazy. Okay, that's too much. Okay?
Yeah.
Honestly, my rule of thumb when it comes to font ratios, from like headline fonts or like the big, headline message to the body copy.
Yep.
2 to 2.5, times the font size, right? Double it. So if your body copy, for whatever reason, is 30 pixels or 30 points, then make that title minimum 60. See what it looks like at 7. Yeah. Right? See what it looks like at 75, right? I'm big, I'm bold. I like that 2.5 mine, but at the very least, 2 times at minimum. Yeah. Okay, is what it needs to be. So the ratio there, start there first and foremost. Line spacing between lines, okay?
Yeah.
That one, generally between 130 to 150% of the actual line space, okay? 140% is the most used online.
Oh, okay.
But again, that ratio of 130 to 150 is good depending on your composition. Right. So again, we've got, your headline to your body copy. Now we've got, your line spacing. And of course, weight ratio. This one is huge, huge. Okay. This is kind of all about the font ratios altogether. It's all about ratios. Font ratio. This is another newbie one that drives me nuts. Yes. Okay. If you're going to use a light font, okay, don't then move up one level to the next. Wait, because it looks, it could happen that way just because of the way that it prints out or it looks on screen. You need to skip always a weight and go up. Right.
So don't go from thin to light.
No. Yeah. Oh my God, that drives me nuts. Or they go from semi-bold and bold. They show, here's the semi-bold and here's the bold. It's like, dude, there's no difference.
There's not much difference.
There's no difference. Make sure you at least skip one. Always.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Honestly, that one is, it's so silly, but it kind of goes back to that whole contrast thing, right?
Totally.
If they're too similar, you can't tell the difference between them.
Exactly.
Oh, dude. And that one drives me nuts.
Yeah.
So when it comes to font ratios, okay, ratio of headline to body copy, at the very least 2 times, but 2.5 is totally good if you're a little bit more in your face. Yeah. Line spacing, 130 to 150%. Yeah. Okay, for the line spacing. And then weight ratio, always skip a weight in between. Always, no matter what. No excuse. Yeah. I don't want to see anybody ever. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. Don't even. Don't make me come look for you.
He'll get you.
I'll get you. I got some cement boots. Let me tell you.
He's serious, kids.
And last, typography. How to not look like a newbie. Okay, this is the tip. And we're all fucking guilty of this.
Yeah.
Dude, all of us. This is a designer flaw. Ready?
Okay.
Check your fucking spelling. Spelling. You know, we always use excuses as designers, you know, when you're looking at it on a daily basis, the most obvious thing you're just going to be, we suck at it. Like, except for that, designers suck at spelling. Okay, I can look at, today I saw customers spelled costumers. And it almost went to the customer. Like, and it's like you're looking at, I get it. We look at it on a daily basis, and we're all guilty of this. I am guilty of this.
I am too. Yep.
So guilty, right? I've gotten better over the years.
Yeah.
I have. But, okay, for the newbie designers, for our newer designers, okay, there's no excuse for you to have any sort of typos because there's so many type programs out there that'll automatically check your shit for you.
Yeah.
There's no excuse at all. Like, shit, Illustrator does it. Okay, I don't think Photoshop does it. Online, you can do it. Grammarly does it. Like, if you want to look like an amateur, no matter how good your design is, if there's a typo, the customer will call you on it. And right away, it's like your value drops immediately. They're like, wow, you fucking hit the market. You hit the target on everything, but that typo was so stupid.
And they'll get you for something like that,
dude.
Right? Like that'll
they demean you on that shit, right?
Totally. You got to be almost perfect in this business.
Yeah. Well, when it comes, and I mean, we all suck. I don't know if it's just designers. Just we love type. Yeah. We love fonts.
Yes.
We hate spelling.
Spelling is something that you have to focus on, I think. And as you're thinking of something, like I don't know about you, but I'm typing something. I'm like, ooh, I should go over here. I'm thinking the next step. You know what I mean? So I'm
getting it in place.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll get to it later. I'll fix that word later.
I'll fix that later.
Shit.
When I was at the newspaper, this was awesome. It was like a section that we were running, and it was on like backpacks, right? And I literally spelled back, and it was in like 200 points.
Did it go to print?
And nobody missed it. It went to print.
God!
Exactly. It's just like, holy shit! And it went by everybody, all the spell checkers and everything. And it was just like, good Lord. But it's something like that. It's just like copy paste, move on to the next thing. It's like, that's a big mistake. Literally a big mistake.
So I remember, and this wasn't me, there was another agency, and they were into the medical space. Right. And they were trying to do a cheeky ad, right, about like, you know, those like the blood things that, you know, pricks your finger and does the blood, right? Yeah. And, you know, the tagline was like, nobody likes a hard prick. Right. And they thought they were being cheeky, right? And they were like, oh, wait, you know, we're going to say a hard prick and everybody's going to be like, ooh, innuendo. They're going to know what prick means. Well, I guess the person who was typing it wrote in dick. Okay, hard dick, because they're talking about pricks the whole time. And they thought, it's like, it's clever. It's great. Well, then nobody caught it because they're looking at dick, but they're in their mind reading prick, and it went to print. It went to print. To medical magazine. Nobody likes a hard prick. Nobody likes a hard dick. Yeah, needless to say, that didn't go over so well for... that retraction
crazy. Was. Oh my God!
Yeah, that went soft very fast. Because it was the blood prick thing, right?
Yeah.
It was because it was like this awesome new dimension that doesn't hurt when you prick your finger. Well, apparently it's a dick your finger. Needless to say, check your fucking spelling.
Check your spelling. It's not glamorous, but it's so important.
And it's such a rookie move,
right?
It
is. It really is.
So keep your typography under control. You know, make sure you've got good font pairings. You understand letter spacing. Understand all the font ratios, all right? From headlines to line spacing to weight ratio. And last but not least, check your fucking spelling. All right. So this whole list is just how to amp up just your design game.
Yeah.
You follow this shit and add this and actually concentrate on this small list. There's only 16 things here.
Yeah.
That's it. 16 fucking things. Do this shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Follow this, add this to your everyday, and honestly, it'll change your game. It'll take you from being, you know, like a 1-year designer to like a 3 or 5 year almost overnight.
Yes.
If you can learn, the quicker you learn this shit.
cha-ching.
Honestly,
right?
that's exactly it.
Yeah,
you know, exactly. 1-year design or 5-year designer makes a hell of a lot more
This is
than
true.
you know, whether
true.
you're freelance, whether you're working in a company, right?
Yeah.
But just your design skills, just.
But these are the things too that I, you know, it's not just about money. It's like this is stuff I wish I'd known.
Well, and that's true, right?
Earlier on, you know, because it's like
exactly right. And again, even like I said, I'm still learning about white space.
Yeah,
totally. You know, hands down. That's something I struggle with more than some of the other things on here, right?
And that's the beauty of this space that we're into is you're always learning, which is good.
Fucking awesome.
It is always refining things and, you know, and pushing boundaries and stuff like that. And always keeping the fundamentals in the back of your mind at all times.
That's it, dude.
Right? Yeah. So these are really good.
Okay. Well, I mean, hopefully if this one goes over well, we're going to follow up with the soft skills.
Yes.
That, you know, newbie designers can also learn with.
Yes.
Maybe follow up that in the next, you know, few episodes, of course. And
not to cry in
not to cry, not to stomp your feet when you don't get your way. Wait, you're not allowed to do that?
Yeah.
I feel like I have some seniors here that still do that.
I did that yesterday.
And that wasn't so bad, but then you fell on the floor and started kicking your feet around, dude.
I know.
What happened?
Was just like, it was terrible. I don't know. I didn't have my bottle.
I didn't mind it, but you took it too far when you wet your pants. Dude. You shouldn't have done that.
So
that
the big diaper wasn't too much?
Well,
okay, good.
Well, you forgot that yesterday.
I forgot it. That's what it was.
Oh, damn. Okay, well, on that ending note, guys, please, by all means, remember our contest. Hit us up on our website or just do it because you love us. But by all means, go leave us a review on either Apple, on Spotify, on Google, you know, wherever, and then hit us up on Instagram. Let us know you did, and you'll be entered in this month's, you know, running contest for winning it. You know, we've got our first winner, you know, for last month, Pat, our buddy Pat from Scotland.
I think it was Dan.
Oh, wait, that's right, Dan the Ham. Dan the Ham. Dan.
Big Dan.
Dan the Ham. Why did I say Pat?
I don't know.
You know why? Because I knew a Pat Serrano.
Oh.
And this guy's name is Pat Serrano. Yes.
It's the Italian.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hit us up.
That's 100% why, but it is
Dan. Dan. Maybe he's
maybe
he's an Italian guy living in Scotland.
He's a good old boy, eh? Yeah. But by all means, guys, we've given out our first pair. We've got 2 more pairs to go. So please, you know, hit us up and review. Your chances are awesome
really good
in this one, right?
Really good.
Do that. Follow us. Recommend us to your friends. By all means, I know that we've got some teams listening to us now. They're kind of spreading the love.
Yeah.
Honestly, fucking love you guys.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
Like seriously, this started out as just something to get us through some COVID times, and has literally like grown into this. You know, like we genuinely want to share what we've learned, and help designers survive and thrive. Right? We've all got some tough times. We've all get this shit on a regular basis. We're here to just help. Like, let us be your voice. If something pisses you off, and you need someone obnoxious like us to hit it, to put it out there in the world,
we'll do it.
We'll do it. I mean, we know we're not scared. It's all okay. We're good.
Yeah, that's right. We'll talk about anything. I swear.
Yeah, right. Really, anything. Really. We just talked about Sean peeing himself. So there's nothing.
That's right. There's nothing is off limits here.
Sorry, man. That was at your expense. I feel bad.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with my shame.
Only because it's true.
Yeah. That's right. He's not lying.
Oh, God. We better get out of here before we get too far. Okay, good enough.
Yes.
Guys, please, we love you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Please, we look forward to ranting on you for next week. All right?
Yeah. And stay tuned for the soft skills on this. If you like this, we'll hit you guys up with some other kind of
absolutely
another angle to this stuff. Not necessarily the technical side of things.
Yeah.
More the mental.
But if there is stuff we missed, let us know.
Oh yeah,
Shit,
and that's
why
true
not?
too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, do that
All
too.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay.
Whatever. We're done. I swear.
We're done.
We're done here.
We're done. Okay. My name is Massimo.
And my name is Sean.
Stay creative
and stay angry.
Peace.